Guys, my hey guys, my name is Kirsten, but you can call me Kiki. I am 21 years old and junior in college right now, and this is my cancer story. So, it all started about March of 2012, which was my freshman year of college. I got this weird feeling like a muscle spasm in my neck, and like it wasn't super bad at first, so I just kind of ignored it and I thought it would go away. So for a few months, I just didn't do anything about it. And then later that year, I moved to a different school for the fall, and that's when it started kind of getting to where it was hurting a lot more. And I just started going to the chiropractor thinking that it was just something, like I had maybe an injury because I fell a lot, so we just assumed it was something like that. So I just went to the chiropractor and like, it would make it feel better, and then it would start hurting again. So it was just kind of like back and forth, back and forth. But the chiropractor kept telling me, we're gonna fix this. Like, she really cares about me, so she was like fixed on getting me better. Well, let's see. And then, so a few months after that, then into the next year, like it started, I could tell it was just getting worse. So I was kind of in denial for a while, but I could tell it was getting worse. And like February, April-ish time, I went to the doctor and told them what was going on, and they were like, well, we would just suggest you go to a chiropractor. And I was like, okay, well, I'm already doing that. And they were like, okay, well, here's some muscle relaxers and you should start feeling better. So started doing that, and then muscle relaxers kind of help. They just kind of like numb some sort of pain and usually help me sleep at night, so that was nice. Because by this time I couldn't sleep through the night. I would wake up like 3, 4 times just because of the pain. And then in, when was it? Oh, May. May of that year, I started getting massages done because we thought, well, maybe that'll help loosen the muscle too. You know, it makes sense. So I was going to the chiropractor, taking drugs, and getting massages. And most of this I was paying for, so which really sucked. Because if you're in college, then you have no extra money, so it's kind of. But and then after getting all of that done for quite a while, it felt like. And then in June, July-ish, I went back to the doctor, and I was like, I think there's something more wrong. Like nothing's helping. And she was like, okay, well, let's try physical therapy. Maybe that'll help. It's like, okay, cool, this is something new. Yeah, that was a joke. I did not like it at all. Went there and like stretched my neck, and it hurt the whole time, and I do all the stretches, and I never made it feel better. But I was like, I'm gonna stick with this. It's gonna fix this. And it just got to the point, like school started, so I was in classes, and I was doing for a little bit I was just doing physical therapy, and then I started doing chiropractic and massages again to see if all three of it at the same four, yeah, four because it's drugs, if all those at the same time would help. But it got to the point where I couldn't sit in class anymore. Like I'd sit in the desk and like it would hurt, so I'd like squirm the whole time, and like that was like 50-minute lectures. And then the ones I had night classes too, so they were like 4 hour long classes. Those were the worst. I was just completely out of it. Sometimes I just laid my head down and just, hope I would die. But so that wasn't going so well. And then, so I did do that for a few months, because then in October, I went and back to the doctor, and I was like, okay, something else is going on. I don't know what's wrong with me, but something more is. And before this, I actually had a conversation with my mom on the phone, and I was like, I think something else is wrong. And she was like, well, what else could it be? Like, if you just keep doing this, it'll get better. But, like, it was weird because, like, the word tumor came up in the back of my head. And I have no family history of cancer at all on either sides of my family. And, like, I don't really know anyone that's going through this right now. So, I didn't even know if tumors could hurt. So, I don't know. It was weird, though. But when I went to the doctor, and at first she kind of, like, got mad at me. It's like, you know, she was like, well, you need to be doing the stretches. And I was like, I'm trying, but they hurt. And pretty much I was almost in tears. I think there might have been some tears that finally convinced her that something else was really wrong with me. And by the end of the appointment, though, I got an MRI scheduled, so that was good. So I went into that, and about a week later, I think it was still in October, she called me and said, I still remember where I was at too. It was on the campus because I just gotten out of class. I think I was calling her back, and I was sitting down, and she said the MRI showed that there is a mass in your neck, and don't freak out because it doesn't mean it's always cancer. And I heard the word cancer, and I completely lost it. Like, I don't think I heard anything else she said after that. But so that was really scary to, like, hear that word for the first time. I'll never forget that. How you feel. So if anyone's going through that, message me. I'm here, and I'll put links to my other stuff down at the bottom. And anyway, so that happened, and then I had a, what's it called? Oh, my first biopsy, which was like, I went to the specialist and he just stuck a needle in, like a small one, and it hurt so bad. And then he called me back a week later and was like, oh, we couldn't tell from that, so you have to get another one. I was like, cool, so I went somewhere else. And they used a bigger needle, and it hurt more. And I have a scar from that one, which is, it's not bad, it's a mole. It's still the same. It's a little scar. And then that, I had the second biopsy, and then they called me like a week later after that one. And he called me and said, good news, it's not cancer. So after that, that's all I heard. I don't remember anything in that conversation after that. So I was really happy, and I just started telling everyone. I was like freaking out, so I was telling all my friends. I was like, I don't have cancer, I'm gonna live. So yeah, but he said that it's a really rare type of tumor, and I have to go to MD Anderson in Houston so they can figure out how they want to treat it. So I went down there, and it's huge. The biggest hospital I've ever been to, cancer center. And they, at first, gave me tamoxifen, which is just like a pill that you take, and it's not that, huge thing you have to go through. It's not that bad. I mean, I'm sure, like, hot flashes and whatnot, dealing with some of it's not fun, but it's used to, like, shrink these type of tumors. And then they sent me back home. And then I get a call, like, the next day while we're driving back home, and she says, my doctor says, we put your case in front of a group of, like, surgeons and chemo doctors and radiation doctors, I don't know what they're all called, and they think that the best idea is to do chemo right now. And I honestly didn't even know that was an option, so that freaked me out. a lot. It is not fun finding that out. And she told me, you know, I'm gonna lose my hair, I have to quit my job and move back in with my parents, pretty much put my life on hold. But thankfully I was able to keep enrolled in school full time. Not for fun. If you can not do that, don't do it. So so I've been going through chemo, and I found out down there what my tumor is called, which it is desmoid fibromatosis. Fibromatosis. I don't know if I'm saying it right, which is sad. But it's, I guess, people don't consider it a cancer sometimes because it doesn't metastasize, which I know is like the scientific, you know, definition of cancer. But MD Anderson, when I looked up on their page, they actually consider it cancer because of how it affects your life, you know, just like cancer does. Because I'm having to go through the same things like chemo, possibly radiation, possibly surgery, and then drugs even. So, afterwards. So, that's why I'm calling it my cancer story. But right now, I'm gotten done with my 4th cycle of chemo, and I have 6 overall, and I start my 5th next week, which is the 24th of March. So I'll keep you guys updated on everything, and I think that's about it. That's my story. Stay cool, guys.